What if every gesture, every breath, every hidden longing were nothing other than love reaching for its own reflection? We walk through our days as though the world were stitched together from separate fragments. Desire here, lost there, joy somewhere beyond reach. We tally our victories, nurse our wounds, and measure our worth by the skills we have amassed. Yet Tagore reminds us that all these fragments are illusions cast by a single source, love itself. Not the flutter of romance, nor the fleeting warmth of affection, but a cosmic pulse that underlies every atom, every heartbeat, every beam of light. Imagine standing in a cathedral of glass where each pane appears tinted with its own color. You strain to comprehend the pattern, puzzling over how shards of red, blue, and green might ever resolve into a coherent tapestry. Only when you step back and allow the sun to pass through every pane without judgment does the full spectrum blaze into view. So it is with our perception. We fragment love into roles, relationships, and feelings until we forget the light that unites them all. We have been taught to seek love in the safe harbor of familiarity, family, friendship, romance, then to protect it fiercely as though it were a prize to be guarded. But the heart that grasps love in the palm of its hand finds only the stillness of a captured bird. True love cannot be contained. It moves like the wind through every canyon and across every desert, refusing to linger only where it is comfortable. In the silence between our thoughts, we glimpse the secret. Love is not an object in the world, but the very substance of the world. The emerald leaf, the crackle of wood in the cold hearth, the path of a moonbeam across water, they all pulse with the same living energy that quickens our own pulse. When we learn to see in this way, every moment becomes a note in a single, endless symphony. This is the non-dual vision that mystics have whispered through the ages, that the lover and the beloved, the dancer and the dance, the tear and the laughter are never two. The apparent I and the other dissolve into a seamless wholeness. The universe does not pause to consider its own beauty. It flows effortlessly, inseparable from the source of its motion. To awaken to this truth is to step into the open sky after a lifetime of cramped corridors. We begin to recognize the silent bond that links each stranger's face to our own heartbeat. We feel the pulse of sunrise in our veins and the hush of dusk in our bones. We discover that even the shadow of loneliness carries the imprint of the divine embrace. This awakening requires a kind of inner revolution. We must loosen our conviction that love is something to be earned, controlled, or possessed. We must relinquish the notion that hurt and hate are proof of separation. Instead, we learn to welcome every emotion, joy and despair, ecstasy and grief as messengers from the same source. Each feeling, however raw, is love's way of calling us home. And so we stand before the shimmering tapestry of existence, shifting our questions from "How do I get love?" to "How do I remember the ever-present field of love in which all things arise?" Is it possible to live as though separation were only a dream? to move through the world and the certainty that every step is taken in the arms of an infinite embrace. As the question echoes in the corridors of our being, the path unfolds towards a deeper inquiry. As the question of living as though separation were only a dream lingers in the silent corridor of our being, it gives way to a deeper inquiry. How do we align every fiber of our life with the underlying tapestry of love? We began by glimpsing that love pulses through every breath, every star, every tender sigh. Now we turn our attention to the loom itself, the unseen mechanism that weaves our moments into a single, vibrant fabric. Imagine a cosmic loom, its shuttle flying back and forth across the warp of existence. Each thread is a life, a memory, a spark of consciousness. In our everyday rush, we see only the threads moving past us, tangling and fraying in the abrasion of time. Yet behind the motion there is a pattern, poised in perfect symmetry, each strand drawn by an unseen hand, each intersection glowing with the same living light. The illusion of separation arises when we fixate on a single thread, forgetting the motion of the whole. We believe ourselves isolated when our thread crosses another, seesawing in conflict or drifting apart in silence. But the loom never loses a thread. Even when it seems to vanish, it merely journeys beneath the weave, returning again to its place in the grand design. Love is the weaver, infinite and inexhaustible, drawing every life into its intricate dance. In the subtle motion of gravity, we find an echo of this truth. Planets orbit stars not because they cling to them, but because they are drawn by an invisible force that neither grasps nor releases. Bodies whirl in their orbits with perfect trust in the unseen pull. So it is with hearts. When we learn to trust the magnetic force of love, we move through the world in effortless harmony, our courses plotted by an intelligence older than thought. Even small gestures become sacred when viewed against this backdrop. A single smile between strangers realigns the weave for a moment, rippling through the network of cause and effect. A kind word in the dark corridor of fear lights a new path, inviting another thread to cross. In these simple acts, we become conscious participants in love's tapestry, rather than unseen movers of our own solitary strands. To live in tune with this weave is to cultivate an inner stillness that senses the shuttle's hum. It is the silent center around which all motion unfolds. In that still point, the heart beats not only its own rhythm, but echoes the pulse of the cosmos. We learn to listen not only to the stories our mind tells, but to the quiet insistence of presence itself, a frequency that resonates with every living cell. When conflict arises, we remember the loom beyond the fray. Two threads may rub raw against one another, yet from friction emerges warmth, enough to kindle new understanding. When loss tears our thread away, we trust that the weaver preserves its place, integrating absence into the larger pattern. Pain itself becomes a needle that threads us into a deeper layer of compassion. In this way, love transcends sentiment. It is not a decorative flourish on the surface of our days, but the warp and weft of being. We cease seeking it as though it were some distant prize. Instead, we realize that every inhale and exhale maintains the very structure of existence. Breath becomes both shuttle and thread, carrying us ever onward and ever home. The paradox of the weave is that no single thread holds the fabric, yet every thread matters. A single filament broken or lost would leave a gap. Likewise, Our unique presence in the world matters infinitely. When we dismiss our own life as insignificant, we forget that love needs no grand gestures to demonstrate its power, only the willingness of each soul to join the pattern. As we walk this pattern, we discover that separation is but a shimmering mirage. The air between two hearts is taut with connection, a living filament no eye can see. We feel its tension and move accordingly, no longer as isolated islands, but as chords in an ever-resounding chord. And so the question returns, gilded by this deeper understanding. Will we continue to treasure each moment as a sacred stitch in the cosmic tapestry, or will we unravel our own thread in search of something else? When we stand before the loom, what choice will we make? When we stand before the loom, thread poised between our fingers and the vast shuttle of existence, we face our deepest decision: to weave from the illusion of separation, or to weave from the boundless wellspring of love that unites every strand. The pattern we choose in this sacred moment shapes not only our own tapestry, but the very fabric of reality, rippling outward in echoes we may never fully know. Beneath every act of resentment, every shiver of fear, there lies a hidden filament of love waiting to be drawn into the weave. To trust this hidden thread is to acknowledge that conflict and harmony alike emerge from the same vibrant source. The cosmic loom does not discriminate. Its shuttle glides through both darkness and light, binding them into a single living cloth. And when we follow its rhythm, our burdens transform into blessings, each challenge offering a chance to strengthen the weave. Imagine dawn's first light spilling through a lattice of mist, illuminating motes of dust like stardust dancing in a cathedral of air. In that glow, the boundaries between self and other dissolve. Every drifting mote reveals its kinship with the whole. So it is when we weave with love. Each act, however small, becomes a prayer. Each breath, a consecration of the unseen unity that gives shape to all form. We become both weaver and thread, timeless artisans of reality itself. Our hands move with greater subtlety when we remember that every causal flicker carries the heartbeat of creation. A kind word loosens knots in the unseen tapestry. A soft gesture guides the shuttle toward a more luminous pattern. Even our tears may serve as liquid dye, infusing the weave with hues of compassion and depth. This is the covenant of love. To recognize that no stitch is insignificant, for each holds the potential to illuminate the whole. And yet, the craft demands courage. The loom occasionally trembles beneath the weight of sorrow. The shuttle threatens to misfire in the throes of doubt. In those moments, we are called back to the silent cadence of heart's knowing. We breathe into the tremor, trusting that love flows through every quiver. We allow the loom to steady itself beneath our steady gaze, and in that coalescence, we discover a grace that does not falter. As the tapestry unfolds, we realize a final paradox. To hold love as the foundation is not to freeze it into perfection, but to allow its living current to reshape us endlessly. The pattern never repeats, It evolves with every heartbeat, every choice, every whispered intention. Our unique thread matters infinitely, not because it stands apart, but because it resonates with the symphony of threads that whirl beyond our vision, weaving a unity we cannot begin to fathom. In the hush that follows this deep weaving, we stand before a tapestry aglow with possibility. In its radiant field, every fracture has been mended, every lost fragment reclaimed. The loom hums with the song of love itself, a song without words, echoing in the silent chambers of our soul, inviting us to surrender to the ever-unfolding miracle of unity. If this resonated with you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And now, may each thread you release and draw anew bear witness to the ultimate truth, that love is the only reality, and in its endless embrace, every separation dissolves into the seamless heart of creation.